So in this video, we're going to talk about the push-pull effect that happens with migration. In other words, what makes people decide to leave a place and what makes them decide to move to a particular place. And so this is titled Gone to Texas because we're kind of looking at why people went to Texas. So anytime we talk about migration or really just moving, there's often a push or a pull. Many of these are economic, but they're not all only economic reasons. So for example, a push, when we talk about the push effect or the push factors, we're talking about what is it that made you decide to leave a place. Maybe it was a loss of a job. Maybe it's just bad financial times because there's a economic depression brought on. Maybe your farm is no longer producing. Maybe you're in legal trouble. So a lot of people in the early days before even Stephen F. Austin might move to Texas or the other regions nearby because they were running from the law. Maybe there's family trouble. You're not getting along with certain family members or something like that, and you all live near each other, so somebody decides to move just to get away from the drama or something like that. So those are possibilities. Those are often push factors. And there is not always a push factor, but there is often a push factor. Sometimes it's just a matter of a pull. A pull factor can be things like cheap land, fertile soil, a fresh start, gold, employment. Those are common pull factors when we're talking about history. Those are reasons why people left. But if we're talking about even today, reasons why people move to a place. So if you think about a time when you moved, well, many times people might move because parents got a new job. Mom or dad got a new job, and that new job pays better, so they decided to move to that new place. Maybe it's not necessarily that it pays that much better, but it's just a step up, and so it's a better job in some other way. Perhaps it is that you're moving, you didn't really move towns or jobs or anything like that, but you moved to a bigger house. Maybe there was more people in your family now, and so you need more room in your house. Maybe you move to a different house because it's cheaper, and so the cost there is not as expensive, and so you move to a different apartment because it's a better deal or a nicer apartment, or it's cheaper apartment or something like that. And so there's all sorts of reasons that push you from one place. So the push is something wrong where you are that makes you decide to leave that place. But then you still have to decide where you're going to go. Well, and that's what pulls you to this new place. There's something about the new place that pulls you there. Maybe it's another couple of examples that I just thought of is perhaps somebody in your family is sick, which is a bad thing, but you have the opportunity to go care for them. So what's pulling you there is like a family obligation to help care for a grandparent or something like that. So that's a pull factor as well. And so there's reasons why we leave a place, and there's reasons why we go to a particular place. And so what makes you leave is a push, what pulls you there or makes you decide to go to a particular place is a pull. So when we talk about Anglo immigration to Texas or American immigration to Texas, some of the common push factors were economic depression. That was brought on by the Panic of 1819. So right before Stephen F. Austin starts bringing settlers there, the United States is right in the middle of depression. So lots of people are in bad shape. There's expensive land in the United States. It's actually cheaper than it used to be. At $1.25 an acre is actually less than it had been just even a few years before, but that's still expensive land. And then one of the big things that we don't necessarily realize is that cotton pulls a lot of nutrients out of the soil. To grow cotton, you pull a lot of nutrients out of the soil, and people were growing cotton almost exclusively here in the South at this time. And so they're pulling all these nutrients out of the soil, and it's not being replenished. And so what happens to your cotton production over time as there's less and less nutrients in the soil? Your cotton production decreases. And so then you need more land to increase your cotton production. Well, if land's expensive, if times are difficult, that means, hey, maybe I have a chance to move somewhere else. And so people were pushed away from where they were in the United States, perhaps because of these reasons. And the pull factors that made them decide to move to Texas was the cheap, fertile land and this opportunity for a new start. There could have been other pull factors and certainly other push factors. Some of the people that did go to Texas maybe had some family problems or some legal problems or things like that. But we also know that the big reason that people moved there was the cheap, fertile land that they had the opportunity to get. There was, of course, many people might have also been just drawn to the excitement of going somewhere new, this new adventure. That could be exciting to people. But the big draw, the big thing was really the cheap, fertile land.